Welcome to this meditation on self-worth. I'm Molly McCandless. I know everybody here, but in case you are new to the meditation, I'll be walking you through the steps for clearing energy that's affecting your self-worth. Our self-worth can take hits at any time, and sometimes a lot. Sometimes we feel great about ourselves, and sometimes we are go into a lower space where we kind of start doubting our ability to create. And things like judgments, maybe from people outside, in your world, at work, family, all that can negatively affect what we are creating and how we see ourselves. So it can go back from the home you grew up in, from childhood all the way up to present day. So what I'm going to do, and again, for those of you who are familiar with my meditations, we create a symbol um, to hold the energy, but I thought it'd be fun to mix it up a little bit. So tonight we are going to use the symbol of a bubble to look at the energy of our self-worth. But we're going to do three at three different times, creating a space, looking for family. We'll fill that space in, and then we'll go on to two more spaces, and then, of course, reset to a higher vibration. All right, let's get grounded. So go ahead and take a couple of deep breaths, close your eyes and relax. Bring your energy kind of in and around you. So what I mean by that is our aura spreads out during the day, and you ideally want to bring it in 2 to 3 feet around you. I mean, if you're at home at night, it'll spread out, but see if you can at least pull it back in for this meditation. So it's about 2 to 3 feet on all sides, underneath your feet, above your head. For those of you who have a current grounding cord, release it. And I'll walk you through creating a new one in present time if you're not familiar with a grounding cord. A grounding cord is a line of energy that connects your physical body to the planet and your spiritual body to the physical body. And how you can do that is imagine from the base of your spine, creating the visual of a line of energy that connects you at the base of the spine down through the layers of the planet and plugs into the crystalline core. I like to use the visual of a hollow tube so that as I connect that hollow tube at the base of the spine down through the planet into the core of the planet, it works with gravity to pull energies out of my body that I'm ready to release out of my body and my aura. So all I really need to do is have a thought that any energies that I'm feeling or are stuck in my space, I just have the thought it can slide down that grounding cord on the base of my spine. And one thing that makes it even easier is if you can expand that grounding cord out a little bit to at least encompass your hips. For those of you who know how to create it wider with around your aura, you can do that. But it's enough to have it expand out so it's as wide as your hips, that grounding cord, as it is in the center of the planet. This is a no effort space. You just use gravity to help you release. All right. Once your grounding cord is attached firmly at the base of your spine in the center of the planet, I'm going to call out some energies for you to start sensing are in your space and release them. Let's start by releasing any stress or tension. If you tune into your body, where do you hold this energy? Some may hold it in their jaws, their head, shoulders. Some of you may hold it in your solar plexus. So tune into your body, release stress and tension. Really breathe. Give yourself this next 30 minutes to like give back to yourself, to release energy that's just gumming you up from just being in on the planet, in the world. And then tuning back into your body. Sense if you are holding on to other people's problems. It could be what you sense as your own problems, or other people's problems. People quite often put their problems in our space to solve. We can't solve it, but what it does is it bogs us down. So wherever you feel like you're holding that, or just have the thought it's releasing, go ahead and send that down the grounding cord on your body. And we can be really unaware that people are putting their problems in our space. That if something feels off, or you have been around somebody who's got a lot of problems, you might just assume that their problems are ending up in your space. And it literally could end up anywhere, but it's just enough to have the thought that that it's releasing, or you release that person out of your space and down your grounding cord. Doesn't hurt them, it just helps clear them. All right, tune in to any demands that you're holding on to, demands on your in your space from others. Could be work, friends, or demands you put on yourself. So release that energy. And then release any words you didn't get to speak today, or maybe you had to speak a lot and there's still some energy lit up around that. You can focus in on your throat chakra, or just that throat area, and allow your body to release all that energy around communication. Great. Okay. After you release, you need to replenish yourself, or you will be out of balance, because we leave energy everywhere we go. You want to think about where you've left it and then bring it back to you. So how you can do that is create the visual of a warm golden sun sitting about 6 inches above your head. So create that visual of a sun and start calling your energy into that sun, say 360 degrees, or think about the places and spaces. It could be work, your car, uh, errands you ran, from other people. I like to see my energy come back as a vapor, but you can just postulate it comes back, or you can see it as lines of energy just flowing into that sun. And when you feel like you've collected your energy, bring that sun in through the top of your head. Allow that energy, which is your life force energy, to flow into your body. I like to fill myself in from my toes and watch that gold energy flow up my legs. So, however you like to do it, top down or from your feet up, saturate all your cells, all your organs. Have that gold flow down your arms to your fingertips and up through the top of your head. So if you've been dragging and you haven't been grounding and releasing and collecting your energy, uh, you will be tired. And I forget to do this when I'm traveling. I might be at an airport at a layover and thinking, I'm so tired. I'm like, why am I not grounding and releasing and collecting my energy up from the people in the airport or on the plane. So remember, it's a really good tool for getting your vitality back as well. Okay, let's go ahead and start the clearing of the energy around self-worth. Remember to view energy clairvoyantly, you need a space to view that energy. So imagine out in front of your head about a foot. Create a white blank screen that is about a foot wide, a foot tall. This is a reading screen or a viewing screen, just like you need a computer screen or a TV screen to view information. You need a screen out in front of you, a space to hold energy to look at. So after you create that screen, give that screen a grounding cord that plugs in from the base of the screen into the planet. And that way the screen won't move around. Sometimes they can shift a little bit, and it can be harder to look at what you're trying to heal. Okay, once that screen is in place, now you need to create a symbol or like a container in order to look at the energy of your self-worth. So again, tonight you're going to use the symbol of a clear bubble. Remember, whatever you're looking at healing in a symbol on your screen actually translates to releasing energy out of your physical body. So you might think, well, why am I doing it out in front of me? Well, it gives you more neutrality to what you're seeing. Sometimes it's hard to release when we're gummed up or in pain. So viewing it out in front of you is a very easy way to look at energy. Well, I say easy, maybe it's not so easy, but it's a great way to create neutrality to what comes up. Okay, on your screen, I want you to create the energy of a clear bubble. And as you create it, have the intention that that clear bubble holds the energy of your self-worth and where your self-worth was affected by the home you grew up in. So basically how your self-worth was affected by your family. Give that bubble its own grounding cord. So from the base of the bubble, give it a hollow tube that plugs into the crystalline core of the planet. So as you see energies light up in the space, it'll have a way to release. All right, so looking at that bubble, what does it look like? Do you see dark textures and colors that are showing you the energy of where the family, the home you grew up in, uh, some of their energy affected you, how you view yourself or your self-worth? Whatever you see in that bubble that is dark, gummy, yucky, go ahead and send that down the grounding cord. Try to have some forgiveness for your family or for yourself. You know, sometimes our parents don't vibrate as high as we would like them to have when they were raising us. So forgiveness, this is a chance to release it. Anything that affected you negatively or your self-worth. And specifically, I right now want you to look for the energy in that bubble, or ask the bubble to show you any invalidation that affected your self-worth that came from your mother. Whatever you see illuminate is in a texture or color that negatively impacted you from your mom, release that down the grounding cord on your bubble. And this may move a little fast because it's a short meditation, so you'll have the technique and the replay if you want to go back, if it's not enough time for you to clear all the energies that we're going to be looking at. The next energy to ask to be illuminated is any energy from invalidation from your dad that's showing up that affected your self-worth. So any invalidation from your dad or any other energies. And some of that invalidation is maybe just not even being seen by your parent, right? Or the self-worth could be just not even feeling like you were seen. And it can come in so many ways. It's enough to look at the textures and colors, but if you go back and look at this, you might have specifics that you want to release around your mom or your dad. Okay. Asked to be shown any energy affecting your self-worth that came from your siblings. How did your siblings' energy affect your self-worth? And if it's still in that space, in that bubble, release it. And I can tell for some of you that really won't be enough time. I mean, I can go back and work these tools again for myself because I'm seeing like I have some matching pictures with some of you. So, it might be a good idea, like I said, to keep working this tool. Okay, and the last energy in this first bubble is going to be any energy affecting your self-worth that came from family like grandparents, cousins, aunts, and uncles. That's a lot of people to look for, but if you have even a specific person, say like a grandmother that affected your self-worth negatively, see what shows up, and then you can go back and work the other relatives. But any energy that's showing up, go ahead and release it. Okay, good job. We want to raise the vibration of this space. So above the bubble on your screen, create the image of a golden sun. And then bring that sun in through the top of the bubble and saturate the bubble to the edges with that gold. Gold's a high vibration. We want to raise that space up. In order to clear that off our screen, before we go to the next space, I want you to imagine you have a pin in your hand and you can pop that bubble it just disperses into a billion little pieces of gold dust and then just dissipates. Remember, when you clear a picture like that, it's not destroying any of the work that you did. It's just you don't want a symbol hanging out on your screen. It's you just won't be able to do your clairvoyant work. So it's filling it in, raising the vibration. When you blow it up into bits of gold, it's still a high vibration, but it's just not hanging out there in your space anymore. All right, on your screen, go ahead and create another clear bubble with the thought it holds the energy of where your self-worth was affected by romantic partners, a current partner or a past partner. And for all of us, I'm sure it'll light up with lots of textures and colors because partners are really good at working our self-worth. So not all of them, but some of them. Okay, give that bubble a grounding cord. And think about if you may need to go back and do this again if you've had several partners who have negatively affected your self-worth. And if there's one in particular, focus on that one right now. Uh, don't let this person hijack your life or make you believe something that isn't true, right? Because of their own energies. For some of you, I know some of the stories. So I really want you to release and again, have some forgiveness for yourself and for them. Let's let this go. So any energy from a partner that affected your self-worth, release it. Okay, that's pretty fast, but time's moving on here. So look in this bubble and ask to be shown any energy affecting your self-worth from friends. Sometimes that comes in as a competition energy. Um, Someone who's, sometimes there's people constantly competing with us, and that can definitely affect our self-worth, especially if they're trying to one-up you. So if you see any energy of friends and specifically competition energy, release it. Remember, sometimes we're in competition with our friends too. So, it's not just over there people always doing stuff to us. Sometimes we're a participant in that as well. So, kind of be mindful of your own energy. Okay, and the last energy in this bubble to look for is the energy from work, past or current jobs, from coworkers, bosses, whatever is affecting your self-worth. If it is, maybe it's not for everybody, but if there's any energy around self-worth that had to do with past employment, current or past, release it, or ask to be shown what it looks like or where it is in the bubble and release it. Okay, good job. Go ahead and create a golden sun above that bubble. Fill that bubble in with gold to the edges to raise the vibration. Visualize a pin where you can take that pin and pop the bubble to disperse the energy. Okay. And then one last bubble to look for energies. Create another clear bubble on your screen. And with the thought that it's holding any of the remaining energies affecting your self-worth, and I'll call out some of those energies. So ground that bubble. Has to be shown in that bubble any remaining energy of invalidation that is still in your space that's affecting your self-worth, and then release what you see. Okay, the next energy to look for is competition. So if you see any residual competition in your self-worth, in this self-worth space, go ahead and release it. Okay, the next energy, look to see if there's any energy around judgments. Those are judgments from others about you, or judgments that you put on yourself about your self-worth. So if there's judgments in that space, release it. Okay, and then two more energies to look for. One is programming. So is there energy going probably all the way back to childhood? Is there energy of programming in your space that needs to be released, where you were programmed to believe something about yourself that was not true or made you feel less than? So whatever is showing up in that space as programming, release it. Okay, and the last energy to look for, this is kind of an intense one. I want you to look in your bubble for energy, the energy of victim energy. So any energy that comes in as where you feel like you're a victim, it's a really low vibration. Sometimes we hold on to stories to justify where we are in our lives and not take responsibility because we're creating every day. We're responsible for what we're creating. So victim energy is really like cement. It holds you like cement in a space that does not allow you to move forward. It can keep you stuck forever. So if you see the energy, victim energy in your space, decide if you're ready to release it and send it down the grounding cord. Okay, I think that's a lot in this 30-minute meditation. So we're a couple minutes over. So give me a second here and I'll kind of back us out and finish this up. Go ahead and create a sun, a golden sun above the bubble on your screen. Fill it in with gold to the edges. Pop that bubble. Okay. Now I want you to create another bubble on your screen for your self-worth, but this bubble we're just going to fill in with specific vibrations to raise that space. So create a clear bubble on your screen, and that is your self-worth bubble. And as you've done this healing, you might even start to see some high bright colors that are really reflective of your being able to have self-worth. But whatever that is, go ahead, or whatever state that is in, go ahead and create a golden sun above the bubble. And the first thing I want you to do is imagine that wherever that energy got loosened up from the past, when you heal something, it frees up energy that's been stuck in places and spaces in, say, like victim energy or unconscious energy. So imagine that any energy that got freed up through this healing is directed into that sun above the bubble. That's, again, your life force energy coming back to you. Bring that sun in through the top of the bubble and fill it in completely with your energy. And then create one more sun above that bubble. And into this sun, we're going to add some higher vibrations, say like in the form of words written in gold, float into that sun, or just have the thought there that energy is flowing into the sun. So into the sun, I'll suggest a few energies and then you can add your own. See the energy of self-worth go into that sun, joy, gratitude. How about some forward momentum, self-love, enthusiasm, happiness, any other energies that you would like in that space? I like to add gratitude into everything, so maybe a little gratitude. And maybe some self-validation, to validate yourself for being here and willing to look at this stuff to heal. Bring that sun in through the top of the bubble and saturate with those high vibrations. And when you're ready, go ahead and pop that bubble. Then create a sun above your own head, and let's put some nice high vibrations into that space for you to ground yourself at for the rest of the week or the month ahead. Into that sun, I'll suggest a few energies. If they don't feel right, then you don't have to add them. You can add your own, but as long as they're high vibrational being energies, because when we fill in with energies, we literally vibrate that out into the world, and that's the energy we receive back. So when you are in a lower state, you're vibrating out, say, negativity or problems. That's what you'll attract. So we want to make sure that this is really high, bright vibrations. So into that sun above your head, maybe add some confidence, self-worth, joy, gratitude, love. Maybe you want some harmony in your life. Could be some sanctuary. Go ahead and add energies into that sun. Bring that sun in through the top of your head. Saturate all your cells and organs, and even run some of that gold down your grounding cord so you're grounded from the center of the planet up your legs, your torso, to your fingertips, to the top of your head with all those high vibrational energies. Good job, everybody. When you're ready, you can open your eyes and come out of trance. Thanks for being here. See you next time.